The final exam in a sociology course consists of 100 multiple choice questions. Each question has 5 possible answers, so that means like an A through E situation. Only one answer is correct. Also, the question is, what would be considered unusual? Would getting at least 60 questions correct be unusual? So, they want us to go ahead and answer a couple questions here. So, the first thing that we need to do is talk about finding our mean, our mu, which is going to be n times p. Well, remember for this one, our n, our total number of things that we're doing right here, is going to be our 100. And then here's going to be the hard part, is the probability, the p, of success. Well, success, our probability here, is going to be of getting one of the questions correct. Well, remember they said that there's 5 choices, and out of those 5 choices, only one is correct. So our p is 1 out of 5, or 0.2, which when we multiply times 100 will actually give us 20 as our mean. The next thing that we would want to go after is our standard deviation, which is n times p times q, but that would give us our variance. So that means to go one step further and get the standard deviation sigma, we'd have to take the square root. So we'd start by doing what's underneath that square root first, the n times p times q. Well, n would be our 100. Our p, we just said our probability of getting a question correct is 1 out of 5, or 0.2. Then our q is the reverse. Your probability of getting it wrong would either be 0.8 or 4 out of 5. So let's see what happens if we do 100 times either 1/5 times 1/4 or times 0.20 times 0.80. Either way, it doesn't matter. And you get 16. As a warning, though, that is just the part that is underneath the square root. We still have not taken the actual square root yet. So, to actually find the standard deviation, we'd still have to take the square root. Well, the square root of 16 is nice and straightforward. It's just the number 4. So then I can build my normal curve. And what we would look at is what's going to go in the center first, which is our mean, which is 20. And then remember to find your upper usual value. Remember, you take your mean and add 2 standard deviations. Well, remember your standard deviations for this one are 4. So we're going to take our 20 and add the 4 twice, which means we're going to add 8. And that will get us 28. And on the lower end, we got to do the same thing. We've got to take the mean and subtract 2 standard deviations, which means we're going to take the 20 and subtract 8, which will get us 12. So anything that's going to be considered usual will be in between 12 and 28. Anything in here is going to be considered usual. So what were they asking about? They were asking what happens if you're getting at least 60 correct out of the 100. Well, that's slim to none if you're guessing. So that's why when we actually put the 60 out here, the high end was 28. 60 is way down here, not even really on the number line shown. So what does that mean? It's way out here on the unusual end. It's not inside the middle where the usual stuff is. So what does that mean? It means it's considered unusual for a student to get 60 or more right. So it's unusual. Okay, let's take a